What's up, people? So this is going to be the ultimate $200 DIY star ceiling video. In this video, we're going to go over everything from the installation process to the most commonly asked questions, and finally how the star ceiling is holding up after 25,000 hours of being on. So grab your snacks, grab your drink. It's going to be a little bit longer video, but everything you need to know is going to be right here. So enjoy. So today we're going to be putting in a star ceiling in my home theater. I've seen a lot of videos for this online and figured it was something I wanted to try out. So here we go. All right, so with this design, I had to make a few alterations because I have the Dolby Atmos speakers in the ceiling. Normally you will build this out of 2x4 and MDF board, but then that would block my speakers from firing down from the ceiling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the frame, but instead of having the MDF, I'm going to just have a fabric. That way the sound will travel through the fabric and won't be blocked off by the board. Now this is the wood I have to make the frame. Everything is already cut. It's just 2 2x4s by 10, and then I have 4 2x4s by 8 that I cut down each to 85 inches apiece. Okay, so now I got the frame done. The space is tight in here, but I had to build a frame in here because it's not going to fit through the door. So I'm trying to make it work in this little tight spot. So normally what you would do here is you would put the MDF board on, but like I said earlier, I'm not going to use the MDF board. I'm just going to use a piece of fabric and stretch it over top of the frame. So this frame is really lightweight. I have 4 hooks already installed that I'm going to be connecting that to. So I'm going to take this black fabric here and stretch it over top of this frame, and I'll be right back. All right, so now I'm done putting the black fabric over top of the frame. The next step now is to take some LEDs and I'm gonna put them around the perimeter of the frame just to give it a little accent lighting. What I used to put this fabric on the frame was just a glue gun and some staples. So I stretched it out, make sure there was no wrinkles in it, and now it's time for the LEDs. All right, so now we got the LEDs going around the inside of the frame, and this will shine up on the ceiling once we get everything mounted. And this also can change colors. So all right, so the next thing we're going to do now, once we got the LEDs in, we got the fabric on. So now what we're going to do is install this. This is the actual fiber optic star maker, or whatever it's called, but this is what you use to make the stars. So pretty much the light comes out of this, and these are the fiber optic cables. It's 450 individual cables that I have to feed through this screen. So it's going to take a while. I'll be back.
All right, so now I have all of the fiber optic lines through the fabric, and I disconnected the one light that was in the ceiling, and I ran the wire so I can reconnect the light outside of the actual frame. So we're gonna go ahead and put the bolts on and get it hung up. We're almost at the end. All right, so now we got the panel hung, and as you can see, all these wires are still hanging down, so we have to go through and trim each one of these about 1/4 of an inch from the frame. And also I have the wire running off the side from where the coming from the light, so I'm gonna mount the light on the side of this so I can still utilize that. So once we get done with that, I'll be right back to show you the finished product. And now that we have everything cut, this is your final product, and I think it turned out pretty good. All right, so let me show you what you can do with the app. So I have two different apps. One is for the actual stars, and one is for the accent lighting that's going around the sides. So let's show you the what I can do with the actual star app. Now this one is ran by Bluetooth only, so it's not Wi-Fi. You have to be within Bluetooth range in order to work it. But so we can change the colors on that. That's the red, pretty much any color you want to, green. You can actually turn the twinkle off. It has 4 speed settings. This is speed 3. If you go to 1, which would be the slowest, it go 1, and then 4 being, or actually let me, 1 being the slowest, and that's 4, which is the fastest. I think I want to keep mine at 1, and this is what it looks like if you turn it off. Just a static light. So I think I'm gonna leave that on. It's slow. So you can actually have it set to just one color, or you can also set it to where it changes the colors. All right, so then let's go to the app for the actual light that's going around the outside. And it's pretty much the same for this app. I can change the light to any color. So that would be the green, red, like a pink, blue. And with this, you can also do the 7 color cross feed, where it will automatically cycle through all of the colors. So actually, is it cycling? Hold on, let me try that again. So yeah, there you go. It's cycling through all 7 colors, and then you can actually set the speed to this to make it faster or slower. That's the fastest right there, and then you can slow it down. So, all right, so this is going to be the end of the video. Overall, pretty cool project. Took me about 6 to 7 hours to complete. And as far as the budget, I probably spent about $200. So all in all, not too bad. If you like this type of content, please don't forget to like and subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. I want to thank everybody that's subscribed already. So make sure y'all stay tuned for more content. What's up, people? So I've been getting a lot of questions about the star ceiling that I installed down in my theater room. So I'm going to take a little bit of time out to answer all y'all questions right after this. Welcome back. If you're new to the channel, I'm Kedrick Foster. I do unboxings and reviews of all the latest tech. So if you like that type of content, hit that like and that subscribe button. So about 6 months ago, I recorded a video of me installing this star ceiling. A lot of people liked the video, and I want to thank everybody who checked it out. But there was a lot of questions in the comment section that I'm going to try to cover in this video. So I'm going to pull up the video and I'm going to go into the comment section and I'm going to try to answer all y'all questions. So question number 1, how did you connect the panel to the ceiling? All right, so let me see if I can take you up and show you this. What I did was I attached hooks to the panel and I attached hooks to the actual ceiling. So in order to do this, you have to first find where the studs in the ceiling are, the ceiling joists. You have to find them. Just need your basic stud finder to make sure you're screwing into wood. You want to screw the hooks in, and then you have hooks that are going to be in the same exact spot on the actual panel, so they'll match up. So you have to measure it up to make sure it matches. And let me see if I can get a visual for you to see how it looks. All right, so hopefully you can see that. I have that one hook screwed into the ceiling, and again, make sure that that is in wood. And then you have another hook or eye bolt, whatever you want to call it, this screwed through the actual frame of the ceiling. So you can see how that's connected. And there's 4 of them. So hope that answers your question. That's how that's connected. Okay, so my second question, what is the second fabric for on your product list? So if you look at the description, I have all the products that I use in order to make this project. So if you look towards the bottom of the list, you'll see I have black felt. Now, a lot of people are asking, what is that for? So originally I did not have the black felt. The black felt is not necessary. If you look at what you see here, that's just the black tablecloth. But what the black felt does is it stops the light from bleeding through. So if you put this star ceiling on its highest setting, the light on the other side of the fabric will shine through the tablecloth because the tablecloth is not that thick. So I put a piece of felt on the back side and it's just laying over top of everything. And that stops the actual fiber optic on the back side from shining through. I'm gonna take a piece of it off to show you what it would look like if you didn't have the felt on. Now it's kind of hard to see, but I'm gonna see if I can get close enough where you can see it. All right, so there's a spot you can see it. So this is where I took the felt up, and as you can see the actual strands shining through. Yeah, see, you can see it there faintly. You can see that shining through the fabric. So to stop that, I just took that felt and put it on the back side of the panel. That way you have a little bit added fabric where the light can't shine through. Now, this will only be an issue if you turn the panel up to full brightness, which I normally don't do, but this is the full brightness. Now, if you have it like 50% or lower, you won't have that issue. So, hope that answers that question. Okay, another question is, how did I power this? So, if you look here, these were the lights that were originally on my ceiling. Just a track light that I mounted to the actual side of the panel. If you can see that. I mounted that to the side of the panel. And what I did was, and now if you're not comfortable doing electric work, I would recommend getting somebody else to do this part. But what I did was I disconnected that, and where these lights were originally mounted, I just took that out and connected it to an actual power outlet. So there's a power outlet, a regular power outlet like this. There's a power outlet in the ceiling that I have the star projector plugged into, and that is controlled by a switch, which is behind one of those pictures over on the side. So I can turn this off through the app, or I can just go over and hit the switch and it will turn that off. Now this light is now wired to a different switch, which is here. So that's just the only light that's in the room now, other than the star ceiling. All right, next question. Why didn't you just use MDF board instead of using the fabric? And that's a pretty simple answer. I actually covered this in the video, but a lot of people might have missed it. So if you look here, I have Dolby Atmos speakers on my home theater setup. Have one there, and the other one is there. So the reason I didn't want to do that is because that would pretty much block my sound coming through the ceiling. So I figured a fabric would allow the sound just to come through as normal. So that's the reason I didn't use the MDF board and I used the fabric. Not to mention, it cut the cost pretty much in half, and it made this panel a lot lighter. So if I didn't have this fabric, I wouldn't be able to use the hook method of hanging it on the ceiling, because the panel would be way too heavy. So that allowed me to use the hook method to hang it. It allowed me to build the frame light with no worries of it coming down. So hope that answers that question. So another question a lot of people ask is, has there been any issues with the fabric sagging? So I can say it has not been, and I did plan for it to sag. I have a way to tighten it if I need to. All you have to do is just pull tension on the fabric and staple it up again. But it's been up for about, 7 months now, and it pretty much still looks the same as when I put it up. So no issues with sagging so far. And another funny question that I get a lot: do you travel to install these? No, I do not travel to install these. Not a professional, just a DIYer. Just put this video up so y'all can do it yourself. So no, unfortunately, I do not travel to install ceilings. All right, so the last question I'm going to answer is a very important one. Is this safe from catching on fire? Do you need to spray any flame retardant spray on this to stop it from catching on fire? And the answer to that is no, you do not need to spray anything on this. The fiber optics do not get nowhere near hot enough to catch this fabric on fire. I've actually had this panel on for 3 months straight without turning it off, and it never got anywhere near hot enough for me to be concerned about it catching on fire. So no, you do not need to worry about this catching on fire. Alright, so I want to thank y'all for watching. If you have any other questions that I didn't cover in this video, just drop them down in the comment section. Of course, I'll be sure to get to them. So until the next time. So this star ceiling has been running for 25,000 hours straight, and this is what happened. So I'm here to answer all your questions about how the star ceiling has been holding up after almost 3 years of it being on. Now, I left this running. I don't turn it off. I leave it running. So it's been running for 25,000 hours plus. So I'm going to get into a lot of the things that y'all been really wanting to know about the star ceiling after it's been running for almost 3 years. Plus, at the end of this video, I'm going to give you one thing that I had no idea was going to happen. So first, a lot of the people were concerned with this being a potential fire hazard. Safe to say, no fires, no burning. Actually, the fiber optics do not even get hot. So if you know what a fiber optic is, all it is a plastic, pretty much like a plastic fishing line with a light shining at the end of it. So if you ever went to the circus back in the day, it's like one of those toys that had like a light in it and then a little fiber optics coming out of it. Same thing. So not enough heat to have any potential fires or anything like that. So that's something that you don't really have to worry about. Another big question is sagging. Did it start to sag? And yes, there is a bit of sagging. As you can see here, there's a little bit of sagging towards the middle of it. Now, of course, this could be fixed by tightening up the staples that you'd use on the side of it. This pretty much happens because the weight of the middle of the fabric starts to sag down and starts to pull on those staples. But I think after 3 years, the saggage is pretty much at a minimum. So nothing that I would really be concerned with. Something that you maybe could do to kind of minimize this if you haven't done this project yet is put a few extra staples around the outside when you first put it on to give it a little bit more strength against that center weight pulling down. Third thing, glue. So when I originally did this product, I did not glue the fiber optic lines in place. So of course, if you start to get a little bit of sag in it, then those fiber optics will move. So what I did was, after the fact, and I'll show you a clip of it here, I actually glued it on the outside of the fiber optic panel instead of on the inside, because of course that would require me to take the whole panel down. And it actually gave the lights a little bit more pop. So you put that glue at the end of each fiber optics on the outside, and it makes each light look a little bit bigger. So of course you can do the hot glue on the inside if you don't want to see it, but I also think it looks good on the outside. So I'm curious to see what y'all think about that in the comment section. Let me know if you prefer it on the outside or the inside. I went with the outside, and I think it looks pretty good. So another thing, there was a failure. So the LED strip that I put around the perimeter of the star ceiling did die on me. And this actually happened less than a year into the star ceiling running. The issue with that was I just used a regular cheap Amazon LED strip, which I shouldn't have did. So I did have to end up replacing it with a Govee strip, which has been running now for about 2 years and haven't had any issues with it. Also, of course, with the Govee lights, you can control them through the app. So it's a lot more accessible to me to be able to change the colors. And it also has a little controller that I have hanging out the front of the panel if I just want to go and hit the button and change it by hand. So one comment that I was getting a lot of in the comments that actually had me concerned, because I didn't even think about it when I was doing the ceiling, was it's going to be a breeding ground for spiders. And safe to say, haven't experienced that at all. Now, depending on where you are in the country, this may be different. If you already have a spider problem at your home, then I could see how this would be a bad place. Well, I could see how this would be a good place for spiders to try to nest. So if you are in one of those environments, I would recommend just getting something to seal over the top on the back side. Now, one thing that does kind of concern me now with the star ceiling after it's been running for 25,000 hours is the actual motor for the star ceiling. So if you can see how the light's twinkling, that's ran by a motor. And I am starting to hear that motor. Now, if I'm watching a movie and I'm watching TV, it's not loud enough to where I would hear it over that. But if I have the TV off and I'm trying to sleep, you do hear that motor sound running, which I don't remember hearing that at the beginning. So of course the motor can be turned off, but then you won't have your twinkle. Something you might want to think about, maybe not having that motor running all the time, because it's starting to make a little bit of noise, and that does concern me a little bit. Now to the thing that I didn't really think about when I first made this design, but has been a major plus. This star ceiling has doubled the quality of the sound in my home theater. So it's almost acting like a big acoustic panel. Of course, you have the fiber optic, you have the cloth, then you have the felt behind it, which absorbs a lot of sound. So if you know anything about treating your room, you don't want to have too many hard surfaces, because you'll get that echo, you'll get the sound bouncing against the walls, and you'll hear that echo type of sound. But this star ceiling fixes a lot of that. Now, of course, I do have some sound panels throughout the wall, but I found a big difference from before to after I installed the star panels with the sound quality in the room. So if you're trying to upgrade your audio, you got a home theater system, you got some speakers, this is definitely going to upgrade that sound. So if y'all have any other questions about the star ceiling, definitely don't hesitate to drop them down in the comment section, and I'll be sure to get to them. So I want to thank y'all for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see y'all in the next video.